Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's the end of a very long weekend, and you've heard lots of thought-provoking things. I'm hoping that I can just shed a light on a different thing that maybe hasn't been touched on. I'm a lawyer who, for the last 8 years or so, has been pushing back against the woke takeover of our institutions. Along with Bruce Pardy and others, I led a campaign in 2019 to stop the Law Society of Ontario's quest to make all lawyers swear to promote equity, diversity, and inclusion in all aspects of our lives as a condition of practicing law. By standing up, speaking out, and pulling people together, we successfully managed to roll this back. I have since worked in the civil liberties space, defending doctors like Kovinder Kaur Gill, who criticized lockdowns, and Nurse Amy Ham, who called out the harms of gender ideology to women and girls. In the last year, recognizing that free speech is essential to science, to medicine, and to civil society generally, I have helped start and now lead the new Free Speech Union of Canada, a member-based nonprofit organization dedicated to fighting for free speech for all of our members and all of Canadians. However, hang on, I lost my spot. That, however, the last 8 years was a chapter of my life, but the 17 years before that was a totally different chapter. I was known as Jacob and Hayden's mom, having taken a hiatus from my professional career to raise and homeschool my sons. Since I was slotted in to speak about guiding the next generation, specifically how do we raise free and moral thinkers, this is the chapter of my life that I will focus on for this short talk. But first, we must know what we are up against. Our children are vulnerable to falling in with the wrong people. Not necessarily evil people, but stupid people. Dietrich Bonhoeffer warned us about stupid people. In his short essay on stupidity, the Lutheran pastor, who was ultimately killed by the Nazis, wrote that stupid people are to be feared more than evil people. As Bonhoeffer put it, stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. One may protest against evil. It can be exposed and, if need be, prevented by use of force. Evil always carries within itself the germ of its own subversion, in that it leaves behind in human beings at least a sense of unease. Against stupidity, we are defenseless. Neither protests nor the use of force accomplish anything here. Reasons fall on deaf ears. Facts that contradict one's prejudgment simply need not be believed. In all this, the stupid person, in contrast to the malicious one, is utterly self-satisfied and, being easily irritated, becomes dangerous by going on the attack. For that reason, greater caution is called for when dealing with a stupid person than with a malicious one. Does that sound familiar to any of you? Bonhoeffer notes that this is not about intelligence. Very smart people can be quite stupid, and ordinary people can resist stupidity. He also recognizes that power tends to infect a large part of humankind with stupidity. And he writes, "It seems that under the overwhelming impact of rising power, humans are deprived of their inner independence. In conversation with him, one virtually feels that one is dealing not at all with him as a person, but with slogans, catchwords, and the like that have taken possession of him." Also familiar. Stupidity generally isn't a threat until it has power. And as most of us have come to realize, stupidity has a lot of power these days. Think of all the petty tyrants you met during COVID. Stupidity is more dangerous than malice because it resists correction and spreads collectively, especially under propaganda or authoritarian influence. So what is to be done? As a pastor, you might expect that Bonhoeffer would say that living the responsible life before God is the only genuine way to overcome stupidity. He goes on to say, but these thoughts about stupidity also offer consolation, in that they utterly forbid us to consider the majority of people to be stupid in every circumstance. It will really depend on whether those in power expect more from people's stupidity than from their inner independence and wisdom. So our job, therefore, is to raise a generation that doesn't fall into stupidity, but also one that rises to be statesmen and women who model and encourage the independence and wisdom of their fellow citizens. So how do we raise and become ourselves free and moral people who can lead our society out of this malaise? I'm a practical person, so I want to give some practical and practiced tips starting from the youngest age. Live intentionally. We need to be very deliberate in our child rearing. This takes time and commitment. We can no longer give them over to others like their teachers and trust that they will be nurtured and properly educated. Indeed, they may be led into stupidity rather than out of it. You need to think carefully about who is influencing your child and make sure they share your values. Social media and the internet are terrible, as previous people have discussed here today. Keep them away from that as long as you possibly can. Public schools in most places are filled with ideologues who want to undermine your child's identity and fill their heads with stupid ideas. Keep them out, if at all possible. Better that they have less material wealth by having a parent stay home to educate them than be subsumed into the world of the stupid. Read aloud to them from birth every single day. Make this a family event each evening before bed. Be selective and intentional in your choice of books. This is an opportunity to transmit values and ideas. There are book lists available online for the classics for every age. For young children, fairy tales help communicate age-old ideas of good and evil. If you're a person of faith, of course, the Bible stories are for children as well, and they do the same, but I do recommend not limiting yourself to those. Ground them in nature every day. Take a walk into the woods, even a small patch inside a city, and have them sit and observe the world around them. Protect their childish innocence. They will invariably grow up, but you don't need to rush it. Get in the habit, as they do grow up, of having family meals together every day. No phones, just conversation that they can participate in. Model curiosity yourself. Hone your inquisitiveness and show your children that you're always learning and you don't know everything. Teach them how to think critically about new information. Reinforce this constantly. If they don't learn it from you, they're not going to learn it. So this is your job. Make sure they know history. Not the piecemeal and selective version of our own school days, and certainly not the kind of distorted and maliciously reframed history that is taught today in school, which teaches only the evils of Western civilization. Even if you don't homeschool, you can read aloud excellent books for children that detail the arc of human history over the evolution of civilization, the beauty of our art and music, the ingenuity and advancement of our scientific endeavors, the great people of history, and the resilience of humanity. We've been through a lot, we humans, and we're still here. I made history the spine of our homeschool curriculum because I wanted to place their lives in context. It's both humbling and inspiring to understand that we are the continuation of a long tradition in civilization, and it flows through and is shaped in turn by us for future generations. On that point, ground your family in its own history and tradition. Make a family tree and record family histories. If you didn't have traditions yourself growing up, create some. Little things that they remember and want to pass along. Religious traditions that last through the ages are beneficial in creating this intergenerational connectedness. But they're not the only thing. My young adult kids still remember that the first day of snow every winter is donut making day. As they get older, demonstrate your own courage and conviction about doing what is right, not expedient. You must practice what you preach. When they go off to college eventually, if they do, it should be with a secure identity that cannot be undermined by radicals, confidence in their values, curiosity and inquisitiveness about what they don't know, critical thinking skills to parse what they're told, and courage to lead and share their views. A recent study by the Aristotle Foundation found that almost half of all university students feel uncomfortable sharing their views on controversial subjects, with the number dramatically rising for conservative students. That was before Charlie Kirk was assassinated for his political views on campus. Obviously, it's a fraught time for anyone with conservative or libertarian views, or who are critical thinkers about the dogma that's being presented as education in many corners now. That's where courage comes in. Bonhoeffer notes that stupid individuals are often unaware of their condition, and as they're swayed by group dynamics or slogans. But he suggests stupidity thrives in isolation from the truth. So exposing contradictions gently can prompt reconsideration. Although Charlie Kirk paid a terrible price for it, the fact is he was succeeding in changing minds through these methods, and we should not cower from doing what he did, standing up, reaching across the aisle, speaking out, and changing hearts and minds. Bonhoeffer believed that stupidity dissipates when people regain their sense of responsibility and inner freedom. So individuals need to be encouraged to act against the madding crowd. We did that with the Law Society battle, and it was remarkably freeing and emboldening. And we're here at the Free Speech Union to be in your corner as you do speak up. We're building community that you can join and be part of as we stand up for free expression as the bulwark against totalitarianism. Please join and support us if you can. We need all hands on deck. Keep grounded in the search for truth. Keep your level-headedness, your resilience, your vigilance, your humor, and most of all, keep your humanity. Thanks.